Welcome to the Essential Self-Care Podcast, a show for those of us who are, let's face it, too busy for self-care. I'm your host, Dr. Sheetal Ujmani, a physician turned speaker, coach, and consultant. As the founder of Radiant Living Institute, I help women, leaders, and executives navigate personal and professional challenges with clarity, confidence, and self-compassion. I also work with leadership teams and organizations to optimize their performance and impact. In this show, you will hear real-world experiences and expert insights to help you cultivate a kinder, more compassionate relationship with yourself so that you can show up as your best self, whether in your career, community, or personal relationships. Please note that this show is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your own healthcare provider about your specific situation. Now, let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the Essential Self-Care Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Sheetal Ujmani, and I can not even begin to tell you how excited I am to be here with you today. If you've been following the show along since the beginning or for a while now, then you may know that I took a brief hiatus after recording our 100th episode last September of 2025. And so this is the first episode of the comeback of the Essential Self-Care Podcast. And so I am just absolutely thrilled to be here with you again after 7 months of not recording a new episode and not uploading a new episode. And I want to thank you, whether you've been following along with the show since the beginning in 2022, or if you're relatively new to the Essential Self-Care Podcast, because you've been listening. Over the past 7 months, even without a new episode being recorded, you've been listening. And how do I know that? Because prior to, and I'm going to share our nitty-gritty numbers here, just getting started, because within the first 3 years of 100 episodes of the show, there were a total of just over 7,000 downloads. And in the past 7 months, the total lifetime downloads has increased to 9,300. So if you're a numbers person, you can probably do that math in your head. I am not. So I pulled up a calculator just before hitting record because I was a bit curious. So that comes out to about 2,300 downloads per year in the first 3 years and 2,300 downloads just in the past 7 months without even having recorded a new episode. And so I want to thank you because to me, it's not so much about the numbers, but what those numbers represent, which means that you find this topic interesting and important and useful in your life. You're finding value out of this show. And that's what those numbers mean to me. And so that's why I'm so excited to be back here with you, to be able to bring more episodes, more guests, more real life stories and expert insights to help you on your journey as well, your personal and professional journey of finding that version of a radiant life that aligns with you and who you are at the core. And so for this episode, for this comeback episode, if you will, I thought I would give you a little bit of insights about where I've been and what I've been up to over the past 7 months. There's some really exciting things here that I want to share with you and that I think that you will find hopefully very interesting and be just as excited about as I am. And so one of those things is that I have been making great progress on my book. So you may or may not know that I've been writing a book. I'm going to share more about that a little bit later. But first of all, some of the other things that I've been working on over the past 7 months and things that I've been up to is I've been traveling quite a bit for speaking engagements. I've had the opportunity to travel to Amelia Island in Florida to speak with women physicians about practicing self-care amidst our demanding schedules. I've had the opportunity to speak with a group of attorneys and paralegals about self-care, as well as navigating imposter syndrome, which does tend to affect many of us, no matter where you are on your leadership journey. Imposter syndrome can affect us at absolutely any stage. And in fact, as you are progressing on your leadership journey, it's actually more likely to impact you with each sort of level and each shift as you're continuing to expand and to grow into new roles or expanding your current role. So I had the opportunity to do that. I had the opportunity to travel to up north from Virginia to Philadelphia, as well as south of Virginia to North Carolina, Raleigh, to speak with Vistage executive groups. So these were executives across all industries to talk about the role of emotional and nervous system regulation. So what our nervous system physiology does when we experience stress and burnout, and ways that you can actually intercept that physiology to find greater calm, grounding, centeredness amidst your busy, high pressure, high stakes days. And so that has been a lot of fun. I've had the opportunity to speak locally at community events with nonprofit organizations. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of speaking to a wide variety of groups and individuals across so many different industries on topics related to truly caring for themselves, to overcoming imposter syndrome, or actually not overcoming. I talk about it more as addressing it, because as I just mentioned, imposter syndrome can show up at any stage of our development journey and leadership journey. And so it's really more about finding ways to address it, not necessarily trying to overcome it, but address it and be able to lead with confidence. I've had the opportunity to speak on setting boundaries to protect your energy and well-being so that you can show up as your best self in all the spaces that you show up. So all of that has been just such a joy. With regards to my coaching, I've had the opportunity to work one-on-one with many clients, women, leaders, executives, both male and female, again, across industries, across the country and even internationally, to help them achieve a lot of their goals. I've specifically, some of that has looked like helping leaders develop strategic vision and missions, aligning their teams on company-wide goals, which has subsequently led to them bringing in more projects and more work for their team. I've helped leaders develop confidence around public speaking in high visibility roles and situations. I've helped executives practice delegating, which that is one of the most challenging shifts that many leaders have to navigate as they step into a new leadership role, is starting to delegate more. So I've helped some leaders practice that, figure out what they want to delegate, what's more important for them to keep their hands and eyes on, and so that they can really focus on those higher level strategic and business development goals. I have helped leaders manage both in the moment as well as long-standing stressors, navigate career burnout, cope with challenging conversations and professional relationship dynamics. So it has been a whirlwind past 7 months, so full of, yes, travel, but also impact and progress and really meaningful, fruitful conversations and discussions. And so it's been so exciting on all of those fronts. I'm continuing to do that work. So if you are with an organization looking to bring in a speaker, or if you yourself are looking for some coaching to help you navigate personal or professional stressors, challenges, transitions, or simply to help you step more fully into places and things and situations that you want to, that's exactly what I can help support you with. So definitely feel free to reach out, radiantlivinginstitute.com. And now on to the book. I am so excited to share this with you as well. I started working on this book just a couple months after I started this podcast, actually. So I started working on this book in 2023. So it has been actively 3 years in the making. However, I first had the idea that I want to publish a full-length nonfiction self-help book 20 years ago. And so while I've been actively working on this book for the past 3 years, I will say that this book has actually been in progress for the past 20 years. And so over the past few months, it had reached a point where I really wanted to be able to focus on it more fully to really bring it to the finish line. And that was a big part of why I took a pause, an intentional pause from recording new episodes of the Essential Self-Care podcast so that I could have that time, that space, that creative energy to put into my book. I had been working with an editor for the past 2 years. And so I was ready to put those finishing touches on it, polish it up. And that's exactly what I did. So my book manuscript is in a really good place right now, a place that I feel really good about. And I, over the past 2 months, have run it through a beta reader group and gotten some amazing feedback of the impact that the book has had on them. And also developed a proposal and pitched this book to some literary agents. So while I am awaiting to hear back, that process in and of itself can take a couple months to actually hear back. And so I thought, hey, it's time to get back into the show. So that's a lot of what I have been working on over the past few months. And I want to share a little bit more about the book itself. So hopefully this has piqued some of your interest. The book is really about the Radiant Living Method, which is a 6-step method, 3 phases, 2 steps in each phase. So for a total of 6 steps, it's a 6-step method that I developed that I actually walk many of my clients through on their journey, specifically my clients who are navigating major transitions within their life. So career pivots, career burnout, recovery, future prevention of burnout, as well as I've walked many clients through this process who have been navigating transitions and pivots and shifts within their business, within their relationships. And so within even things like empty nest, transitioning to retirement, rediscovering a sense of purpose, rediscovering who they are at their core and what is really important to them as they transition into different phases of either their career or different aspects of their personal life, or both. And so this journey, this Radiant Living Method that I've developed, it really draws from a lot of different places. It draws from Western science, psychology, neuroscience, as well as Eastern traditions that I've studied, including mindfulness, yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, which is the ancient medical system of India. And what I've done is I have put together some of the most powerful pieces from both of those, from Western science and Eastern wisdom, into this 6-step method in a very intentional sequence that I guide my clients through to help them really make that journey in a very intentional and aligned way. And so that is the focus of the book, so that you can actually read more about that journey. The book contains journal prompts so that you can actually reflect on some of the ideas and concepts and actually create your own action plan to put those concepts into use. So anyone who has worked with me, either through a workshop, a keynote presentation, or through one-on-one coaching, you know, and hopefully listeners of this podcast over the past few years have also found, even through this show, that it's really important to me to deliver on very practical, actionable insights. And a big part of why that's so important to me is because while I was working as a physician for close to 20 years, let's face it, I was really busy. My schedule was often double booked with patients. I was running from room to room, navigating very high stakes situations, very emotional situations throughout my day. And I had to find ways to implement strategies so that I could show up as my best self, so that I could stay present and grounded through navigating all of that, so that I could help my patients, so that I could help my families. And so that's why it's so important to me to deliver practical insights that actually fit within your life. Recognizing that each of us is navigating very different situations in our lives, very different roles and responsibilities. Our schedules may look very different. And so that's why it's so important to me, while I explain and offer specific concepts and these 6 steps, it's not like a one size fits all. Within those 6 steps, I offer so much variation to help you come up with what's going to work for you. So even though it's a framework, it's offering these very concrete steps that are backed by Western science and Eastern wisdom that has been around for well over 5,000 years. I help you adapt this to fit within your modern current day lifestyle and situation. And that is what this book is. So in this book, you'll see examples from clients I've worked with. You will see examples from my own personal journey through things like burnout, through things like divorce and chronic pain. And you'll see all of those examples. I've put those examples within the book so that hopefully you can find some insights, and that parts of our journeys, both myself and my clients, may relate to you. You may find some part of yourself within those journeys as well. To feel hopefully less alone, as well as to know that it is possible for you to create these sort of long-lasting changes and habits to feel however you want to feel more of in your daily life, whether that is more peace, more joy, more contentment, more energy, more excited, more of a sense of adventure, whatever it is for you. And that's why it can be hard sometimes to really put it to words, but that's what I have attempted to do, both in my podcast as well as in this book, to really help you identify what's most important to you, not to me, not to your neighbor, not to your significant other, what's most important to you, and really help you bring more of that to fruition in your life. Again, whether that is within your career, whether that is in your personal relationships, whether it is within your relationship with yourself, which I would argue is the most important relationship in all of our lives. The relationship that you have with yourself, the relationship that each of us has with ourself, and staying true to that inner self. I truly believe that we experience the greatest amount of discord, distress, dis-ease within our lives when we are straying away from that relationship with our inner selves. And this book is all about getting back to that, cultivating, nurturing, nourishing that relationship with yourself. So I hope I've piqued your interest with this, and it might still be, even though the manuscript is in a place that I feel really good about right now, it still may take a little bit of time. Again, I described that even the process of pitching to and finding a literary agent to represent my book, pitching to publishing agencies, and then the process of design and formatting, etc. All of that could still take another perhaps 6 months to a year to really bring this book into physical manifestation and into your hands. And so that being said, I do want to share if I've piqued your interest at all with this method, and if you're curious how you can start applying these steps within your own life right now. I don't want you to have to wait that long. I definitely want you to stay tuned for that book. As you can tell, it has been a labor of love to write it and to go through the journey, the book writing journey and publishing journey. And so I definitely hope that you will stay tuned through this podcast. Hit subscribe on the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Go to my website and you can download a free workbook. And this is actually a workbook where it has prompts. It'll take you no more than 20 to 30 minutes to go through the workbook if you do it in one sitting, but you could also break it up. For example, you could do one step of the 6 steps every day for a week. You could split it up over 6 weeks. But download that workbook. If you go to my website, it's on the homepage. You'll see download free guide. You'll click on that button and download that free guide, because that will walk you through those 6 steps so you can start actually applying some of these concepts into your life right now. When you do that, that will also put you on my newsletter so that you will get updates about the book as I continue to move forward on this publishing journey. So definitely do that. If you're like, I need a deep dive in this now, then let's set up a call and we can definitely explore coaching and working together one-on-one, where I can guide you through that process to really customize it to your goals and what you need in your life. So if you're like, I'm ready for the deep dive, then that is also there for you. So for that, you can go to the website. I have a coaching tab. You can start there. You can go to the contact page at radiantlivinginstitute.com/contact. Any of those ways would be perfect to get in touch with me to get that process started. And otherwise, please stay tuned, because I am so excited about more episodes of the Essential Self-Care Podcast to come in the coming weeks. So please stay tuned, catch up on past episodes, and I'll see you next time. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, rate, and write a quick positive review wherever you're tuning in, on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Your reviews really do help the show reach more people who need it. And as a free gift, don't forget to download your Radiant Living Starter Guide at radiantlivinginstitute.com.